Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. 𝗪𝗓 from Neurodivergent Business Consortium, and we have a special program today. As you know that we have a new portal for Neurodivergent Business Consortium, and we will launch it, and it is fully ready for people to contribute, collaborate, and get supported. And we have a very special guest today. I will introduce her in a minute. If you wanted to ask us any question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. And I do apologize that we had another guest, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. She could not join due to her personal problems. But we have our special guest today, and we will have a brilliant session to talk about. And we will cover today creating a global business support network for neurodivergent, disabled, and less able people. You know that we run this program every Tuesday, and we talk about specific things to support you. So it's been a pleasure working such a long time now to contributing to this platform as well as getting support from you. So it's really I really appreciate all of your support that you have so far given it to me, and without your support I wouldn't come to this stage. So I just wanted to introduce our guest, and she is just here. Hello. Thank you, Dan. And most of you probably know her. And I just wanted to say a little bit information about her. Diane Warren, MBE, and she is supporting for employability and a lot of other social works, and creating huge contribution for the community. And thank you, Diane, for joining today's live events.
Thank you for asking me.
Yes, thank you. So to start with, I just wanted to ask you if you could introduce yourself to the audience. Some of them might not know you very well, about you and your passion of supporting people.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I have a big investment and passion for improving outcomes for young people from all backgrounds, and I've been involved in the space for 30 plus years. My background is in the corporate sector, and I worked at a London-based charity as Director of Business Development for 8 years, and I started 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 UK 10 years ago because I wanted to put into practice the things that I believe make the biggest difference to young people, particularly those who need extra support in finding the pathway from what I call A to B. And A may be in the bedroom on the Xbox, and B may be a job. A may be in a job that the person isn't satisfied with, that wants to improve their lot. And so B might be a pathway to improved success. But I've had a lot of lived experience, worked with lots of people from all sorts of backgrounds, and the overriding factor for me is the fact that I believe disadvantage comes in all shapes and sizes, and it can be very well hidden sometimes. And so there's a lot of work to do in the space. And thankfully, increasingly, there's a lot of practitioners now taking these issues much more seriously. So progress is being made, albeit slowly.
Thank you, Jan. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today. As I said, we have a special program, and we are contributing for some years now towards supporting neurodivergent individuals as well as education and business. And we have found that there is still a lot of things to go, because when you talk to someone in education, the accessibility issues and all other things, in business or in workplace. Myself, I suffered hugely when I went for job interviews and when I'm doing my businesses, because the services is not tailored for my specific needs. It's just like blanketly categorized, like, okay, this is for disability, and or this is for accessibility, this is for this is for that. But in this world, the most all the disabled people or neurodivergent people, individual person is individual. Yes, you cannot cater maybe individually, but you can make the environment better for those people. They need adjustments. So lots of people, they are converting now. I'm just recently joined to two universities to work for accessibility and others programs, because they're thinking about it now. And you probably working for last 30 years to extend the work for disabled people, neurodivergent people, and people they are not listened to. So we will jump into conversation in detail. So, but before I start my conversation, I just wanted to thank all the people they have joined online. You can ask us questions from the comment line, and I will pass this question to Diane, as well as I will try to answer those questions for you. I just wanted to request, Diane, if you could, because we're going to be launching the event. So there is a ribbon cutting here. So I just wanted to share Diane's screen. She will just cut the ribbon. So just give me 1 second. I just share the screen with everyone. And we are just launching our Neurodivergent Business Consortium's new portal. And Diane, is a special moment for us because we've been working long time to get to this position. So if you could click the button and then launch the new site for us, please. Hey. That's really fascinating. That's really fascinating, Diane. Thank you. So I wanted to share some specifically a tour of our site. So I will share my screen so people to understand what is out there. So you probably know that we are working for some years now, and we have now this portal. So we wanted to extend our support to from local level to national and global. So that's why we have created this portal. The best thing is that it has a capacity to create a global network. So we have created this platform based on the knowledge that we have gathered last few years. And you know that we are software developer as part of our other initiatives, commercialization. So we understand the community as well as we understand the technology very well. So the things we have contributed here is just like a portal for anyone they wanted to engage and excel. So anyone from anywhere in the world, they can register with this portal. They can add their events. You probably see all of our upcoming events and past events here. And anyone from anywhere can add their events. So this is open for everyone. There is a process to go through in the registration, but when it is done, you can utilize this platform to list your events anywhere you are doing. And we have a resources section as well. So in the resources section, we have resources and the resources. So this is related to all ND populations, disabled populations. So we're going to be a portal for solid knowledge information. So one place for everyone. So it's also can contribute it from anywhere in the world. So anyone from anywhere they can add knowledge to this platform. And we have a corporate resources. So we have created these special sections to let people know disabled supportive organization or ND organization that, okay, to have their shop front, like, okay, you are a business and you can advertise your business details with us. And people will know that, okay, you are you have support for disability as well as you care for disabled people. And people will know about your company, and if they need support, they can contact with you. And then we have a global news sections. So in these news sections, anyone can add their newses, current affairs, and all other things. As I said, so we have categories, subcategories. As we are just launching this site, we have many other people to joining to this conversation. As we're a business, CIC, we need to have some business generated from there. So we have specific packages for people to support. So all of our packages are designed to support individuals to grow and extend their business and career. And the other thing we have is the donation sections. So anyone from anywhere from the world, they can add their donations, and this is fully automated. People can add their donation information there, and we will collect that donation for them. So they can select specifically any specific program they wanted to donate, and any specific amounts in other currency as well. So anything they wanted to do. So this is the tour of NBC. And if you wanted to know more, please go to 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗂𝐵consortium.com. So you can see the full benefits, as well as I said, we need your support. So without your support, we cannot sustain, and we cannot grow, and we cannot support the community. So thank you, Dan. I have finished my tour. It's just I'm overwhelmed today because we could finish this portal. It was a huge development for us as we self-invested, and because I could do it as I had software developers under my team. So we just invested to develop it gradually last 1 or 2 years to come to this stage. So we're just going to go to our conversation. So if anyone want to ask us any question, feel free to ask us. And as we will have a specific conversation, and I will ask some questions to Diane, as you already know about Diane and her work. So my first question to you would be, what motivated you to build your empire, to support this employability network?
Well, as I said when I introduced myself, I have always been interested in improving outcomes for young people from all backgrounds, all people really, not just young people. And I think employability is a cycle. I think it's a life skill that is important for everyone, and it's not just related to work. At 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗂𝐵 UK, which is a charity, we are not in the business of employment. We're in the business of employability, and there's a big difference between preparing someone for a job and preparing someone for either wanting a job or being able to access a job. Because I believe that, and I very passionately believe that everyone is capable of doing something, and it doesn't matter how severe a disability might be, whether it's seen or unseen. Everyone can contribute to doing something, and as a result may increase feelings of self-worth, self-confidence, self-belief, and those are very important factors in people's overall well-being, physically and mentally. I think that some of the conditions that people have are exacerbated by the fact that they don't necessarily feel as good about themselves as they might do. And that can be transformed by fairly simple things. And that's not in any way to oversimplify this very, very complex issue. The point I'm trying to make is that I believe that helping others can have such a big impact on theirs and your own life, and more should be done to improve the ripple effect of doing good. And it sounds a bit of a cliche, but it is true. If you are down or need cheering up and you go and cheer someone else up, whether that's an animal or a person or a situation, if you can turn the positivity volume up just a little bit, the effect on yourself can be quite transformational. And to anyone who says, what on earth is she talking about? My answer is try it, because it really, really does work.
I totally agree with you, Dan. Most of the time I give my experience, my story to people. And I think the way you say it, it's really contributing. Why? Because, I was autistic from my childhood. I did not know about that. But my supporter was my mother. So she helped me to sort my life in education. So I was very good at education, apart from all other things that I could not do. And when I came here, I encountered a brain tumor. And for that brain tumor, even though I was a super student from my sixth levels, I did my A levels 3 times because I could not pass. I did not know what's wrong with me, because that wasn't recognized. But at the end, I came to the UK for higher study. I was recognized. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And after operation, I could not study. I could not do things. I became disabled, and a lot of other things happened. But, getting support with specific persons, specifically my wife, my mother, and my mother-in-law, they changed my life because they trusted on me. Like, most of the time they said, we can do better, because that changes my lives. And when I finished my graduation, master's, PhD, I also encountered with a lot of things that you just mentioned, that employability, like creating the step to get employed. I wasn't getting any help from anyone. I was engaged. I was called for many interviews, but no one really selected me to have a job. And that was my struggle. And then I realized, okay, maybe I'm not a material to working for people. So what I can do, I can support people to prepare them for employability, because I know what's the problem over there. So the work you are doing, I would say, is contributing on many people, because if you're disabled and less able, or special needs, or neurodivergent, or jobless, or whatever, the knowledge and the support you are giving someone's lives to the future. So in relation to that, you probably have some success stories. As I tell my story most of the time to let people know, or encourage them to change their lives. Can you tell us something, any of your success stories that you're proud of?
There are so many stories that it's so difficult to choose. But while I was reflecting on our previous conversations, and we've talked about various things, it inspired me to think back to a government-funded scheme that was around a couple of years ago. And we had young people into the charity as part of the government's Kickstart scheme. And we were fortunate as an organisation to be an employer as well as a gateway intermediary acting on behalf of other employers to facilitate the process. We were privileged to have 10 young people through the door to actually work in the charity as part of that scheme. And the value that brought was absolutely outstanding for us. It really changed our approach. We were reminded of the world and how it's changing, and how it's really important to see things through other people's eyes. And I now feel much more confident myself in being able to speak with conviction, really, on the fact that, you know, we had a particular individual, and I do have permission to tell this particular story. And this individual is has ADHD and autism, and they have told me that it was the culture of Employability UK that had been created that enabled them to thrive and feel comfortable and really excel in the role. Part of that was second nature to us, because I think being a volunteer-led organisation, if you've got the right people in place with the right attitude, a lot of things can happen quite naturally. And so the safe space, safe environment culture was already in place, but this enabled that person to grow and thrive and be comfortable to the point where, because of lockdown and so on, we hadn't met face to face. When we did have an event and we did meet face to face, this person proactively put together a short email stating the needs that were required on the day, and how to go about directing them to be a useful part of the team on the day. They had struggled beyond belief with just the idea of going out to support this event in person, but had approached it in such a practical way. It completely blew me away. You know, to actually be told, I will need direct, clear instruction. I will not be able to react necessarily very quickly to things, because I may take a little minute to process things, and little things like this there. To some people it's really obvious, and to experts in the field and practitioners, that they will know all this. But for normal everyday businesses, what can a business do to really commit to investing in making it a great place to work and a great place to be for people? And I think that one of the things is that comfortable environment where people feel safe to speak out, they feel listened to, they feel confident that they have a voice, respected, using simple language without dumbing things down, without overcompensating for them. And as I say, I'm really proud of the fact that this person has a distinct, very, very high opinion of their time with us for that reason.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. It's just giving me some additional topic to talk about, because when I have gone through many interview processes, and I had short memory due to my brain tumor surgery, and autism as well as dyslexia. So even I know things, it takes time for me to remember them. And when I went to specific interviews, I have a fears of those interviews, and that also gave me, you mismatch my memories. So and people, they don't know, and they don't understand. People like me, there are many people like me around there, we have a Pandora box. Okay, on that Pandora box, we have millions of informations. It's just like AI. So millions of information. And if you ask us any information on the go, we are not swift like AI. They give the information like this. What we do, we take our times because we need to open the Pandora box, a specific drawer, and get it out for them. Okay. And we don't have that time when we go to interviews. But what I have seen so far in relation with interviews, if that can be done as work-based, like, okay, you don't take our interviews, you just work with me, maybe one day, couple of hours, give us a task, and we will boom with that, because we know if you give us clear instructions, very written, bullet points that, okay, I want this, and this is my starting, this is my end point. So I want these results, and this is your task. You don't need to do anything afterwards. We know what to do. And most of the autistic, dyslexic, and all other neurodivergent people, most of them are like that. So thank you for sharing this, because it will support many people they are listening today. We
I think
have
also,
questions.
I was just going to say declarative language, isn't it? So instead of you must do this, the approach where I call it consultative collaboration, where you're saying to someone, this is what we need to achieve, and this is why, this is what needs to happen. I'm thinking this, what do you think? And suddenly that engagement isn't directive and it's not imperative, it's more comfortable, because people aren't being put in a position of instant decision. I need you to do this and I need it now. Is that okay? Yes, it is. They don't have to do that, because it's more yes, I can see what the problem is, and the brain then is hopefully, or the mind is more comfortable with the flow, and so the arrival at the destination, so to speak, is much better. That's the feedback I've been given to the approach that we use.
I totally agree with you, because I'm working with neurodivergent people for many years now. I realize I am a dyslexic after my operation, because I lost most of my vocabularies, linguistic problems, and others. And then I realized I was autistic when my son was diagnosed. When he was 2, I think, he just going to schools, and the school thinks that, okay, he had some special needs, what we can do. But he's in the high spectrum, so he can think 10 times faster than as individual peoples. But he also needs some specific elements to support him. And when I give him instructions, it has to be very clear. And he will ask me twice or 3 times sometimes, did you mean that? Do I do that? And you want me to do that? So assuring him that, yes, this is my instruction, very clear, and I want these results from you. And then you don't need to ask him anything. If I ask him to do his homework, he will just understand it, and he will do this homework in just like a few hours or few minutes, and then okay, that is done. So those are the things the most of the neurodivergent people are. That's one thing. Another thing is that our brain work multidimensionals. We have a group that we collaborate together. Most of the dyslexic people, neurodivergent people there, and we talk about 3D. Like, we see 3D visions. We can see things 3D. Some of us, not everyone. So when I see things, I can see things in 3D, and I can alter the things the way I think is appropriate, and as well as it has to be logical. So if something is not logical, if you ask me to do, that will not give me anything to work on, because if it's not logical, I wouldn't do it, because it doesn't mean anything to me. So why do you ask me to do that? So you probably experience this kind of behavior from the people you're working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and it's all about clarity, isn't it? It's about making things meaningful for people, because one size doesn't fit all, and you can tell quite quickly if you've lost engagement with someone. I refer sometimes to the taking the hood down moment. You know, we've worked with a lot of young people who maybe very stereotypical here, but maybe wear a hoodie with the hood up and won't look you in the eye, won't engage with you, don't really want to be there. But gradually, if we've got it right and the environment changes and you actually are lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to hit on something that resonates and engages, suddenly the whole dynamic changes and gradually the hood starts to come down and you know, a positive situation is then developed from which you can move forward. Again, that's my experience of working with people, as I say, from all sorts of backgrounds. And I think the important thing is one size doesn't fit all. And anyone who says, you know, what is the magic way to do X? There isn't one. It's about understanding and starting, I think, with clear, positive intention. I think if your intentions are good, you remove any suggestion of passive-aggressive language, and you know, you can be directive, but in a way that engages people. And I say that of all ages, not just young people.
I totally agree with you, because we have to shift our positions when we talk or work with neurodivergent people or disabled people or special needs people. Why? Because I might say something that is not resonating to them. So we need to be a language that translates, that we understand the language well. So if it doesn't translate, then there isn't any success. So thank you, Dan, for your contribution today, and we're going to be talking more. It's nearly half an hour gone. We have many questions from the audience, and thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. We appreciate your support, and I just gonna ask questions from the audience. We have many questions from the audience, so I will gonna go one by one. So the first question is from Salahuddin. He said, what steps can be taken to raise awareness and reduce the stigma surrounding neurodivergent professionals in global business environments?
I think, again, creating the right culture of inclusivity is the first step in that direction. I wonder, and I'm no expert, so I don't know how big the stigma still is. I would like to think that increasingly people are becoming more mindful of others and the need to be. Yeah, so as I say, I think understanding and starting from a positive standpoint. I think if you're thoughtful and aware and consultation, learn. If you know, it's easy to just think, oh well, I'm doing my best. I don't really know what I should be doing, but at least I'm doing my best. No, that's not enough. You have to reach out and gain knowledge and look at best practice, ask others, consult with others. And that's where things like the networks come in, which I know you're a big advocate for, and I agree. I think knowledge sharing, it's all very well putting something into AI and having a load of words come back at you, and that's all very exciting and very novel and becoming increasingly widely used. But there is no substitute for being human and showing compassion and vulnerability by saying to people, look, I'm really struggling with this and I want to do my best. Can you help me? That's what I would do.
Thank you. That's the greatest advice, Diane, because you need to have a mindset that, okay, you accept things and you get supported through your network. Sometimes some people, they do not want to express their needs. That's another problem, because when you're working with someone, if you do not express that, okay, you do like it, you do not like, you dislike it, and you need more support, the other person, they wouldn't know, would they? So when you are supporting and working together, then you need to support as well as get supported. Then it will become I would say, environment that everyone is happy. So thank you, Saladin. I hope you got your answer. So I have Miley's Coker. You already shared your network, so I just wanted to share it with the live audience. So if you wanted to know more about 𝗏𝗏.co.uk, I don't know what is this network because I haven't clicked that yet, but it's supported for neurodivergent people. So thank you very much for sharing your website with us, and I hope the audience, they will get benefited from there. And the next questions is from Zakir. He asked, what strategies can organization implement to ensure that their business support network are truly beneficial to the neurodivergent members? I think you have worked with neurodivergent people, Diane. As a business person and receiving the awards, I think you received the awards from the Queen, aren't you? So what suggestion do you give it to the new people like me or others? They are working with neurodivergent people.
I think it starts at the attitude towards the recruitment process. I think if EDI processes are really, truly, authentically embedded into the recruitment process, that there is a holistic approach where it starts with the very moment you decide you need a hire, and it can be from job advert onwards. Now, yes, there's a lot of rules surrounding what you can and cannot say these days, and how things have to be positioned. But I think people can go beyond that and think, how do I want to be viewed? I want this to be a great place to work. I want people to think of us as the employer of choice. You know, young people particularly are increasingly discriminate in terms of where they place their CVs. I know from feedback I've had that some young people have said, I am only going to apply to organisations that, and that could be have a specific ESG policy, it could be attitude to flexible working, time off, terms and conditions, as well as salary and things like that. But yeah, I think the recruitment process through induction and then having a actionable personal development plan for everyone and making sure that the content of that personal development plan is recognised as a tool for success. So there's a pathway to promotion, maybe there is a pathway to recognition for a job well done. There's a means to flag challenges or difficulties early on. So there's a very, very early alert system for any kind of red flags or challenges that may be. And I think also involving people with different ways of thinking. And let's face it, again, I'm no expert, but I know that some of the most transformational ideas that we've had over the last 5 years have come from young people who think very, very differently to how we do. And I know that some people get very uncomfortable when some people say, oh, it's a superpower. Well, that's not a great way to describe it at all, is it? I mean, far more, to me, far more complimentary and appropriate would be to say there is a wealth of knowledge out there. It's coming from all sorts of different sources, and we must and can and must embrace it and utilize it. And I think that particularly aligned with the we are human, let's be creative, let's be critical, let's be people, is where the real strength is now.
I appreciate your critical message for the neurodivergent people. I accept that. When I talk to neurodivergent people, they said, okay, neurodivergent people are now superpower. It's like superhuman. I don't accept that. Why? Because I think neurodivergent people were into our community when the civilization were created. And new thinking and all the things came from neurodivergent people and non-neurodivergent people. So it's not a superpower for me, but a mutation. We are different type of mutation, and we can think differently. Like, okay, we can see 3D visions. We can see a path that a neurotypical person will not see. So in that way, we can aid better than as usual person. But in terms of knowledge, a neurotypical person can be a superhuman because they might have different knowledge that we don't have. So thank you that confirming that. And to everyone who is listening today or watching this live webinar, we are not superhuman. We are human with specific tactics, specific knowledge, and we can implement that knowledge to change things differently. So yes, we are proud for that, and we will change the future. So thank you, Dan, for your time today, and thank you everyone for sending your questions. We're going to be jumping into the questions, but before I jump into the questions, I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from Neurodivergent Business Consortium, and we have Diane from the employability, and we are working towards to support individuals. It doesn't matter if you're a neurodivergent or disabled or neurotypical. It's all creating the employability for the future. So working with Diane or her organization or us, you will create a sustainable future. Doesn't matter you have knowledge or you have less knowledge, we will contribute that to you. And today we are just inaugurating our new sites. And thank you, Diane, for your contribution. We're just going to jump into the next conversation. So we have Ridwan asked us one question. I think we have answered these questions already, that how can business make their support network more inclusive and accessible to the neurodivergent professionals specifically? So in terms of answering these questions, if you could a little bit add towards how we can be more inclusive. It doesn't have to be neurodivergent. It can be for anyone.
I wonder if as part of the inclusivity and bringing an authentic feel to safe spaces and collaboration and so on, if we were to take a more, I don't know, literal approach to work. Work is something you do, not somewhere you go anymore. Work is something that contains tasks and outputs and things to do. So we are very familiar with the to-do list. Mm-hmm. We're less familiar with the to-feel list. Mm-hmm. Now, and that is important too. It's, it's no longer okay to expect people to turn up at the door and leave home on the step, go into the workplace, the work environment, become a completely different person, almost like autonomous, and just do their job and go again. It's not like that anymore. And I think that leads me to another very big, important aspect of change for me now, as the years I've been involved in employability in all ways, shapes and forms, is the intergenerational knowledge exchange. There's never been a better time to be young or old and everything in between, because we're all living in the same world. The world is still changing at the same pace for all of us. The precious commodity is time, but time well spent for us, and me in particular, is where we can create a dynamic environment where people with wisdom, knowledge, expertise, and experience are working closely with young people who need knowledge, need wisdom. You can't put an old head on young shoulders, you can't. And but the value of the knowledge exchange is absolutely huge, because that's why our mentoring programs are so successful, because we say to our learners, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? If I was in your position, I did this, I would have done this. I didn't, and this is what happened. Now the world is a different place, but a lot of the values and the outcomes and the issues are alarmingly similar. And people think, oh, you know, the old people, they don't know what it's like to be young, and it is different. You know, the world we grew up in, you know, 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't the threat of or sort of the fear of crime, fear of terrorism, fear of all sorts of things that are much more apparent today, polarized by social media and increased information availability. We know more now. So there's a lot more to be scared of, and that is true, and that frightens all of us. But if we can share and have some empathetic understanding, I think that again can create, okay, we're not going to reach a paradise, a utopia where everybody's happy, jolly and comfortable in their own skin and everything's wonderful, lovely as that would be. But I do believe that if everybody did a little something together, it could create quite a shift in the world we've all got to live in together. And so it becomes less of having to tolerate and more something to enjoy and celebrate.
I totally agree with you, because if we think about the present situation, where in Middle East, in Europe, and a lot of other things, that's a different thing. We don't want to talk about that. We just wanted to talk about, okay, your country or in the UK contributing together to grow expertise, contributing together for more jobs, contributing together for more calm situations. There will be people in the community, they will harm, they will not have a settled mentality, crimes and all other things. But if we do not streamline that path, we can streamline to more prosperous community. Like the work you are doing and the work we are doing can create future generations. Like when you talk about crimes, like, okay, you have a specific needs and you just engage with crimes to fulfill your needs. If you don't think about that, okay, I have a specific needs, but without engaging in crime, I'm engaging in learning things, educating myself, and achieve that. That is a huge success, isn't it? But people, they don't think about that way. They just engage with stealing things, specifically crimes, and a lot of other things. They don't think about the consequences. You probably know that is huge population in neurodivergent, they are engaged in crimes because people don't listen to them. And what they do, they think about, okay, if you don't listen to them, I'm going to be harming you. So we need to have a shift from that mentality. I had a huge problems in my past, but what I did in terms of getting into crime, I engaged in learning things, educating myself. Now I'm educating people. So if you wait, you will get a good results. I work with many young people and the society as well. As there is a problem, So if you have a crime like, okay, steal something, or you name in the police register, you will not get a job, you know. And we need to change that shift too, because yes, you done one crime, that doesn't end your life cycle. And we have to recognize those people in the community, that okay, they have maybe one or two crimes, but with proper support and help, they can be contributing greatly for the community. So thank you, Dan, for today's your contribution and events. We have more questions from the audience. I'm not sure that we can answer them all. I just wanted to ask you about your getting your award. Can you tell us a bit more about that? How did you feel at that time when you get the MBE?
Oh, well, very honoured, very surprised. Absolutely incredible. And when I think back now to the day the letter came, I was just completely taken aback. And but yes, it was for services to disadvantaged young people, and I felt very honoured to be recognised in the way I have been. It is a culmination of years of work with lots and lots of different people, lots of different audiences. But I think, yeah, it was an absolute privilege, and I was fortunate enough to go to Windsor Castle to receive the award from Prince William, and that was a total joy. I mean, you know, it's one of those pinch me, am I really here moments, because it's so exciting to be there and amongst other people who are being honoured for lots and lots of different things. It's a completely mind-blowing experience, if I'm honest. Yeah, I still now think, wow, you know, and sadly, you know, 3 months later, our dear Queen passed away, and I was actually invited to attend her funeral at Westminster Abbey, and so I went to the Queen's funeral, and that again was an enormous privilege and honour. But for somebody, you know, from a working class background who doesn't really have those sorts of experiences at all, I know firsthand how that feels. And I think that it would be fair to say that that's part of what drives me, is it's all relative. And you're quite right in terms of the rehabilitation of people, particularly people who've been involved in offending. You know, we must be very, very careful before we write anyone off. And it's easy to judge. It's easy to compare people to your own value set and your own expectations and what you think is right and wrong. But I think if you are open-minded and fair and forgiving and generous of spirit, then that there's room for everyone, and we really truly can have a situation where no one is left behind.
I appreciate it. It's really, I can feel how you felt when you got these awards, and I really appreciate your work. You become overwhelmed when you was talking about it. So it's a great privilege that we have you with us today, and
Thank
you're
you.
contributing more towards the community. And you know that when you think about prosperous community, you need to think about everyone. Doesn't matter what is their color, what language they speak, and a lot of other things, if they are poor, rich, or whatever. Because I have seen things and cases that rich people's children's, they also destroy their lives. You know, people's in middle class and lower class, they also destroy their lives. So when people are destroying their lives, it's just destroyed, isn't it? So we are here to support, and it will transform people's life to the greater benefits of this country. You know that we have a new government out there, they talk about employability, more engaging people to the workforce. When there is like previously there was like 15% of the people were neurodivergent. Now recently I saw is 22% because people are more aware and they are more diagnosing a neurodiversity. So when in a country there is 22% population are very neurodivergent, and they have learning needs, they had special needs, and you can support with them, you cannot grow a country when they are seeking benefits. I know specifically I was on benefits time to time due to my long lives. It's not a good thing. The first thing I experienced when I had, after my brain tumor surgery in 2015, I fractured my ribs. I could not go to work, so I was homebound for 2 years. And I had to seek government helps, and they put me on a hostel. That changes my life. That's why I'm here, because my wife said, this is the life that we don't want it. We don't want these lives because this is not for us. We can be better. So we took a decision. In 1 month, we were on a hostel, and they said, okay, this is not our lives. We wanted to do better. And then we just get out from the system that, okay, we don't want council property. We don't want council to help us. We need to work on our way to get a better lives. And that's why I'm here. So I do refer people that, okay, you might, yes, you need support from the government, but in extent or in a certain way that you can use that benefits to extend your knowledge, to learn more, to create your future, rather than engaging with benefits all the time through. You just engage in benefits, you die on benefits. No one going to remember you. No one going to talk about you. Your achievements so far, people are talking about you. Why people are talking about you? Because you have contributed to the people, you have contributed to the community, and you are thinking about the community, you are creating the future of the community. So that's why people are talking about you. So we need more people like Dan in the community to support and extend our next level population. So we are just nearly end of our session. At the end of our session, we just ask questions, the key takeaways to our guest. If you have any key takeaways to our viewers, Dan, please.
I think it's quite thought-provoking because we kind of know stuff, but we don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't sit at the forefront of our mind because we're going through the motions. And to your point about benefits, I mean, maybe we could aspire towards a situation where people don't expect anything for nothing. So in other words, yes, okay, maybe I cannot get a job right now for whatever reason, but there must be something I can do, even if it means sitting doing desk-based research for somebody to help a cause, maybe some outbound calling and things, volunteering and so on. I think we really need to move away from any kind of the world owes me a living kind of mentality into the what can I do for you? What can I give? What difference can I make? And I know that probably sounds a bit like a cliche, but there's nothing wrong with that mindset, in my opinion. And I actually do think it should be incumbent upon everyone to do something every day, however small, however tiny, even if it's a one-line text to somebody just to check in, hi, how are you, reaching out, because it's that positive mental state of mind and positivity that generates energy and change. I think that, yes, the new government we need to sort of ease up on the negativity pedal a little bit and start thinking about translating all the good work and promises into actions. And I think we can all do our bit to support that.
Thank you very much, Jan. We are nearly into our sessions. Thank you for all the people they have joined today and listened to our long conversation. As I said, the conversation is ongoing. We're not going to stop. Diane not going to stop to do her good works. Most of the time I say that when my brain is not working, I do not understand, I do not have a mental capacity, I stop that time. Or if I die, I stop that time. So as a human being, we are unstable, and we will do to support the community. So I do appreciate your work, Diane, and I request to all the viewers, please support our work. You can access 𝗵𝗵 Consortium, and if you wanted to be part of this great initiative, feel free to contact me through the social media, and you can write to me as well. We can bring people to the next level. We can get them a decent lives, and that will transform their future generation. I just want to add one little bit from my son. He thinks now to become a scientist like his dad is. I'm so proud that I came to this stage. So you're going to be proud. Your future generation will think what you are, and they will follow your path. So if you are on benefits, if you do not work, and if you destroy your lives, your future generation, most of them will think, okay, my father did not have any achievements, so what I wanted to do, so, or mother, or whoever. So create a role model for your future generation, and that will create a sustainable community. So Diane, please stay on the line. I'm going to just say bye-bye to the audience, and we will have a discussion together, and I will say you bye-bye. I'm just going to take you off, and thank you, everyone, for joining today's live webinar. We have privilege to have Diane with us and knowing her work, and we will contribute together for the future. So if you are still waiting, just support our work. You can access our page on 𝗵𝗵consortium.com. And if you wanted to contribute and get our support as well, we are open for any suggestion, any contribution. And thank you for all the audience, specifically 𝗏𝗏 for sharing your site. If you wanted to work with us, please feel free to message us. And I will welcome you next week with another events. And you know that I do live events every week. Tuesday for NBC, Wednesday for audio events for business development marketing, and Thursday I do some of the special events with guests and as well as ND Business Club. And Friday we work from 𝐼𝐶𝐻 Marketing Agency as well as Time Research and Innovation to talk about business development, software development, and marketing. So I wouldn't keep you any longer. I will welcome you tomorrow and rest of the week with our lives. And stay tuned, spread the word. Thank you and bye-bye.